How's it going, guys? I am on my way to work, and I have blindly gone live again to see what the fuck comes out of my mouth. That's gonna get me in all sorts of trouble this time. Thus is the fun of the one who wills to war. What is war anyway, right? It's gonna be really interesting wrapping your head around the origin of the military when we get there with the Bach Saga, because it's about the most ass backwards fucking understanding of something you've ever heard of in your life, and the conversations about it, right? You know, it's just like the Bach Saga is just like you have to bypass the fact that the most proper way to tell you precisely what the story is to bypass the punniness of it, right? Which makes you rethink the entire manner in which we have used puns, which have been only for comedy or for whimsical riddles, right? Which sometimes are one and the same damn thing. So this has been a relationship with original words ever since they transplanted our population with Christian slaves. Look, man, let me tell you how all this fucking happened, man. It makes so much fucking sense. It hurts. I've mentioned it before. It's slavery, right? You see it in the Northmen. Most I don't even. It's not even most. You know, you see a handful of this population of slaves that are Christian, right? There's a subtext of that with these types, and they certainly aren't thinking about anything other than living till tomorrow. Meanwhile, Amleth is just ready to die as soon as he can get his hands on Fjolnir, right? So he has a fixed purpose that drives him. The other guys are just doing what they're told for another day, and they don't know how the fuck they're going to get out of their situation. And you look at the men around them, you know, and for whatever it was, right? And sometimes that can be the suckiest goddamn thing, especially if you go from a master that you maybe things were different with that guy, and you know, all this nonsense, right? And so it became an inevitability as Christianity was taking over amongst the slaves, as the predominant religion that was favored by the masters that were doing such a thing. They had to change the programming for the human sacrifice element, right? They needed to, you know, play against the naivete of their soul, to get them to just love each other so much that they're willing to die for each other in a bitch way, as opposed to dying by the sword because the enemy is out there, right? Because they didn't want their slaves to be of the fighting class as such, right? The heart and soul of even a Christian army or an atheist army is fucking pagan, because the military as a real thing, where the enemy doesn't play by the rules and simply sends its most effective killing persons at you, which are going to be men. Okay, hold on a second. That's it, you can't back up anymore, bitch. I'm right here. Alright. This person was like backing up because they were in the middle of the goddamn road. Um, but I could have been caught in that situation. But I still had the honk. So you don't back up that much. As much, you fucked up. You can't back up that much. That's how much you fucked up. You have to surrender to how much you fucked up. That's what we all have to do, is surrender to our fuck ups. We're almost there. I'm gonna start pulling into the intersection. Hang on, let me make sure people are not crazy. All right, everybody's cool? Everybody's cool. The safest driver live streaming on the planet. Look at that. I'm the best. All right, so that was a fun little kick about the military I went on. And that was just for a joke, really. More so of a joke. Bringing it up just because we're eventually going to cover that. And as I go through El Baco Auvergnat, I'm hoping that my fair use notification in the description is working all sorts of proper, right? And so, like, right now I'm just trying things a little bit different. Userman 2024. You're not the first guy to do the weird ZZ Top question. This is not that impressive of a beard. It's really not. Sunglasses, I mean, damn, with the sunglasses, right? I get it. It's once the sunglasses come on, it kind of puts the whole image together. I get it. Cock saga. You behave, sir. You behave. So things, the vibe check in the world is exactly where I said it would be. We're like, what? It's been a week. Holy shit! It's been a week, hasn't it? Since we did the thing, because it's Tuesday today, right? Isn't it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it was last Tuesday. Yeah, it was last Tuesday. Can't believe how fast this effing week has gone by, right? I've paid a pinch of attention to how things have unfolded, to get the vibe check on things. I'm hearing bits and pieces in the air of the faces that will be playing their roles in the next invention of the American corporation. And I've been listening to a few rebuttals by the general consensus of the losers. And we ain't gonna have, this ain't going down like 2016. This ain't going down like 2016 at all. The culture isn't there anymore. There's nothing feeding any of that, right? You were in the envelope of the psychic field of the agenda of the neoliberals and the neocons through their political parties. This is a completely different psychic atmosphere now, which is all correspondent to Thomas Sheridan's wave function collapse. I don't know how I feel about this return to VHS tapes. That I'm not so keen on. I'm happy with my Blu-ray. I really am. Blu-ray, fucking A. That's what I'll say about Blu-ray. Blu-ray, fucking A. But, but of course I'm on vinyl. I'm on fucking vinyl. Oh, baby, I love my fucking vinyls. Gotta get some, best thing, fucking, meditating to Heilung on vinyl. Want to meet the fucking Allfather That's the best way to fucking prime your nervous system for it. Gotta have that depth of tone, the highs and the lows, the clarity of every little whisper, things you just don't pick up when you're listening to it on any digital format, even Blu-ray. Fucking A. But yeah, no, there's no really big fucking college protests going. I mean, there's college protests going on. Like, it's all there, right? But like all these snarky, really fucking shallow fucking right-wing pundits and shit, you know, they're trying to say like, here they go again, as in they're gonna burn the country down, like they started to in 2016. But they're not. They're not. They can't. They don't know how. They fell on their face hard. All of them are known on the public record. Despite any political narrative about what they've done, they're dealing with what they actually did that mattered on fucking family level, fucking workforce level, peers, friends. Their entire fucking way of influencing the world is dead. They have to use similar means as everyone else now. And a new kind of person that is wrong about things has now come to rise. The people that don't realize what fucking happened in 2020 and said, let's try that again. Right? That's why we're back here. Right? It's extraordinary. It's political history. But yeah, no, it's like things might be going back to like if things are going back to quote the year 2000, then I mean, there's good and bad. There's good and bad in that conception. Because despite people being thrown out of quote political power, they're still gonna be who they are, right? Even though who they are has not only had to make personal decisions of change, but has also had to make public decisions based on everything that happened to their lives, right? You know, the change in their disposition as now being in the fold of calling, you know, they went from calling for X, Y, and Z thing, then they filtered completely into calling for pandemic issue stuff, and then after that, they just kind of fell into the malaise of suffering their own political victory. I've never seen such suffering of a political victory in my life. I've never seen an out the gate, you know, nobody really knows the guy's thing, and they at all, other than they know that he will champion the party platform, right? And so that's all they're doing is they don't care about the particulars of who it is. Granted that might even be the smarter way to fucking think about it, you know, because if you're an empty suit as an idea, the first level of the facade within that suit is going to be your registered political party. You know what? You have an oath to them on a certain level, you know, which you make those promises to get you elected, and thus that gives you permission to hold course. And you will hold course, right? You know, you got to prove it to them, you know, that you were absolutely loyal to what they wanted, right? Which will teach them something about the win or the loss for their ideas. And they'll either lie to themselves and say there was something wrong with our strategy, or they'll be honest with themselves and say I was selling a bad idea. And then the power-ups on top that have been manipulating them to those false conclusions in the first place have to set up the new Hegelian to give them false conclusions to jump to for the next issue that takes the day. And this is why voting doesn't fucking matter, because that I just described is the master of how things turn out at the top and bottom of this fucking country. Okay? That is why all you're doing is saying, torture me with party politics. Torture me with it. I want it more. That's what you're saying. Right? So I don't know what to tell people about what good any of this is going to do, considering how little interest, by and large, there has been throughout this process in doing the right thing on just the basic levels, basic investigations, basic questions, you know, basic what do they call it? Basic discovery, you know, for, you know, court vernacular, you know, to call for discovery in court, which means to bring the fucking to bring the evidence forward, right? This is the shit. This is the shit. It's so it's kind of largely criminal that it acts like this. And so yeah, so I just don't. I'm not going to tear down society, because I think I understand how it's supposed to work. I think I comprehend that there's this very crazy way that I can't see quite yet, in which what we're thinking about when we're talking about government, when we're looking at something and pointing at it and saying a part of government, that if it disappears, the roads will still be here, is the oversimplification of the thought, right? The idea. Anyway, Corey Daniels. Corey is too on the leading edge of all of the criminal investigatory shit, you have to find him on all the other platforms. He recently was live on Rumble. Sometimes he's on DLive, as well as Rumble. Sometimes he's live on Telegram. I think everything is slave to Rumble. I think the primary stream ingress is for Rumble. So you need to follow the Phoenix Enigma on Rumble. That's where he did the last one. And you know, he and Alicia are still doing their thing, but you're gonna have to go to Rumble. You gotta understand, he's still hitting topics that are at the height of the interests of deep state context control. He doesn't like the way that the deep state doesn't like the way the Phoenix Enigma gets it out, especially because of who Corey is and who he knows. This is what has to be reconciled, right? So Corey can't come back to YouTube yet, so you got to go to Rumble. Anyway, what's up, Theo? So anyway, yeah, my point is that I'm not 100% sure if the way that I see it makes sense as being not government. If I were to talk to some of the guys, you know, in the weeds, I probably might, you know, like get a lot of disagreements or whatever, you know, because it seems like it's a pretty hard and elusive thing the way I imagine it to be on both how human behavior is going to hold up in what order and amount of time it'll take for human behavior to add up entirely in this manner. You know, on top of those driven, desired, and interested in doing all of the upkeep of things or development of new things that are objectively improvements. Somebody made a very foolish decision. Ugh. Anyway. Ridiculous, really. So, in general, I think that we're on the positive timeline, right? The positive timeline doesn't mean that because the government gets better, it means that the government is to be redeemed. You know, the government is not a thing that's like that, and you got to stop personifying it, right? You're personifying the government, which is what you do with fucking fairy tales and deities, which are real, but the personification is only meant as a storytelling apparatus because of how much what the gods do seems like it is done on two legs with two hands and one head upon thy shoulders, and you know, they seem, you know, it seems like a rather human relationship to the way they govern the cosmos in those allegories. So, the government was a mistake. I don't think we should be going back to the Ramaya system, with Ra and Maya calling all the shots and making it like it was in the Paradise which can't be done because we're not in the paradise. human needs for the what because of what the weather changes. It changes the entire manner of all the particulars of how we've been. Granted, probably someone like Ramaya, if they themselves actually doing it, being so old and understanding the condition of their children and yada yada yada. And there's a whole lot of fucking things to ask for. It's not even probably them. It's just probably their direct descendants. Right? Because like I think what the Box Saga is saying is that the souls whose genetic stock is closer to Frey and Freya, who are closest to Odinma, that I think that incest works for them because that's part of like their soul, their soul producing technology. I guess one could call it technology. That's inherently built in them, right? So because we're fairly far removed from the Allfather, we have to look outside of a certain, we have to at least jump a branch, like we might be a twig on a branch. We have to marry on a different fucking branch. That's the idea. Right? Using trees to understand how you do things in life, right? This is what paganism does to people. You just look at a tree and say like, oh yeah, life, obviously. That's how I live my life. There it is. I just gotta do how that branch grows right there. I gotta do how that branch is growing, but at work. Which I have to do right now. Alright. 6:30 in Utah. Yeah. 8:30, yep. Alright, gotta go. Bye.